Hello, welcome back. Teh Tarik Hour, and we are back again after 1 week off.
Yes.
As always, Azreen, Ah
Kit
Kit,
here.
we are back again for another episode. So, how you been? Okay or not?
Yes. So far, I think it's the last 2 weeks I've been sick because I don't know what happens. Diarrhea. And then the last week I went to with my wife to Penang for the conference, and then makan and jalan.
Go jalan a bit
Mm.
Quite. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah.
Not the sakit, not the diarrhea.
yeah, the Penang time lah.
But
I've been sometimes 7 years or 5 years I never go Penang, but this time I went to Penang. It's quite surprised me. Penang's the place they have the Gurney site there. They have a new develops the site, and then do the jogging part, the jogging pace.
so improve the area lah.
Yes.
Actually, I don't think I ever been to Penang before lah. I might have been when I was younger. I can't remember lah, but I haven't been Penang when I'm in my adult life. So one of the things, of course, people always say about Penang lah, the food.
Nice food, and then
You cannot attack the food one if you
the
attack the
people
food.
also nice. The people.
Okay lah, but the one thing they are very sensitive is about is food they always say their Penang food is better than KL food
Yes, I agree.
You agree also?
I
is
agree
it?
also. Because the foods like the Assam laksas, and then I quite miss the taste. Even as I come to KL. But I think nowadays it's not necessary we will travel to Penang to have a good food. But in KL we can find some things is similar in Penang.
Okay, I think, but that would have to be an episode to talk about the Penang food against
Penang
Malaysia food, because
but just very hard to get it in KL. But it's just in Penang, you just simply get a roadside food. Well, how come just simply to find some food, and then it's
already
very
better
nice.
already.
Yeah,
Is it?
very nice.
Well, this is again, they're very sensitive about this, but maybe one day we can do a travel there, have
yes.
Penang versus KL kind of thing, because we are Penang Lian ma.
I know Penang. I'm from KL Yan. I don't know how to say.
Oh, so you're not converted to Penang already, is it?
No.
Actually, we both KL lah. We both KL, so that's why.
But the food, I know comments lah. The food, their food is nicer than us. This is what I thought.
Some people will disagree with this very strongly. Some people will agree with this very strongly.
Of course lah. You see, depend on what kind of. Let's say in KL, you see the what you call that, the noodles, the black color noodles. It's our best. Like bak kut teh, of course, it's our best. But come to Assam laksa, and then the curry laksa, all that is from Penang. Definitely, is the Penang is go the priorities.
Something there lah. Okay, we will see how lah. Maybe one day that could be in our future episodes lah. But today's episode is something Ah Kit is very passionate about Is the most things that he is want to talk a lot about.
It's not saying we are anti we call it, right? I don't know whether you guys already know the topics for today's lah. But seriously, I'm not saying I'm the person who are anti-Chinese. Just now, Azreen mentions he said, "Oh, how come you are so anti-China? The Chinese people come to Malaysia?" No, of course it's not. I try to protect our Malaysian people here. Because let's say now they have this so-called I don't know whether they are already decided the 90 days the free visa to Chinese people come to Malaysia, 90 free visa. I don't know whether they are making a decision, already make decide to bring the people come to Malaysia or not. So today, is this the advantage or disadvantage for people have this 19 days to come into Malaysia for the Chinese?
Okay,
do you think it's an advantage?
First thing first, let's establish what it is. 90-day visa free. So basically, for 3 months.
Yes, 3 months.
They can just come to Malaysia without applying for visa lah.
Yes.
It was already in effect, if I'm not mistaken. But now they want to extend another 5 years So longer period for Chinese national to come to.
Previously is 30 hari saja. Now it's 90.
90.
Yeah, it's different.
But they already had before lah. This visa. It wasn't 90 days, so it was 30 days originally. So now it's increased to 90 days, and then this will be for 5 years. Okay. So yes, this will be the thing. Lor. So, what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages?
I see the disadvantage more than the advantage. Like, advantage is some kind of like we are go to China is the same also. We are, can go China for 19 days
Mm.
in a free visa.
Mm.
But for the other way, they are come to Malaysia. If let's say for 3 months, for Chinese people come to Malaysia, it's possible to 3 months they're working in Malaysia.
But that is not allowed because that's not the purpose of the visa.
Yes,
That
it's
is not
not
a working
allowed.
visa. It's
Not-
a
I know
travel
it's not
visa.
allowed, but they have a freedom to do illegal way.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So sorry. Repeat that again.
Because they have these opportunities to
Mm.
come to Malaysia to do the illegal way to work in Malaysia.
So illegal working lah. Just like how Malaysia used to do when we go to Australia
Yes.
or go to the UK and all this lah.
Some more were affected. Some of our minor, I'm not saying the big corporations, that the minors is like the freelancer, like our freelancer designers and freelancer photographer. They can come in for 3 months and then do the freelance job, and then they go back to China and then come back again. They're charged in, maybe they're based on their market price, then they destroy our market price to do the designing job or whatever, the photo shoot job or whatever. This is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
It's not affected the big corporation. Maybe of course the big corporation they're also affected. But for us, it's like our minor like us. We are just a freelancer. They are affected us a lot.
Okay. So that's your stance there lah.
Yes.
Your position there lah. Is that the advantage is okay, freedom of movement lah. Can come in and out lah. No need to worry so much. And then you think the most obvious and the most scary disadvantage is they come in, take our rice bowl lah, basically.
Take our jobs.
Take your jobs lah. So, but as you mentioned lah, and we established it is a holiday visa. It's not a working visa lah.
Yes.
But you still believe to the fact that the Chinese nationals will take advantage and work for, even though they don't have the right to work there lah.
Yes, because these things, our governments, if let's say they have this not very strict this called policy to protect our Malaysians, or we let them to come in and as work, no protection for us. I mean, it's like, even the big corporation, they are easy to set up the companies in Malaysia. They also say, this is where you have to like some policy restriction for foreigners to set up companies, or even those people or the freelancer to come into Malaysia, and minor as a freelancer to come into Malaysia. They're very straightforward. They can't do anything in Malaysia. Then we will secure our rice bowl. But now it's just only 19 days, 60 days or whatever they came to Malaysia for travel. Yeah, it's not like, okay, if let's say for Australians or other people, they're okay because their currency is not say currency lah. They're the way they are more to like the bay to the law. But even some Chinese, they are not very bay to the law.
Okay. So I have a couple of disagreements with that lah. I personally, I think it's what your thoughts are. It's not really founded on actual data there lah, because there are some things that I feel like we're overlooking here. But my position here first is that, okay, advantage, I think I see more advantage than disadvantage lah, if we're being honest about it. Traveling freely between the countries on a holiday is good for tourism lah. There's no denying about it. You boost the improvement because, let's face it, Chinese nationals, they like to spend a lot lah. And they will spend a lot, so that's a good for a country that wants to establish better ties. And this also allows for better economic ties with China as well lah. We want them to be, good with us, so we can be good with them. And then in the future, maybe we can have better things, like they would be willing to share some of their economic wealth, either through investing in Malaysia, or like building factories here, or even like having better trading advantages there lah. Like, let's say because of this 90-day visa free, China look at Malaysia as a really good partner, and then they will say, well, Malaysia is such a good partner to us, why don't we invest in terms of like infrastructure? Let's build you guys a high-speed rail using our technology, make things faster, make things cheaper, or something like that lah. I feel like this is a foundational thing for that. It's a very diplomatic.
Definitely. Because what you think? China is the biggest manufacturers in the world. So which means we have this relationship. They sell their goods to come to Malaysia. We can get a cheaper
trading in the
cheaper
sense,
trading.
or in the sense maybe we can sell our things to China as well. That would improve our ties there, relationship.
Yeah, in the meantime, we are gonna examples lah. We get as t-shirts examples lah. And we have these very cheap the t-shirts is from China. We buy from China. Maybe it's 50 ringgit or 20 ringgit, even 20 ringgit we can get one t-shirts. But if let's say we can get a 20 ringgit t-shirts in Malaysia, so how about our manufacturer in Malaysia, the t-shirt maker? So the t-shirt maker in Malaysia, the factory and the manufacturer will be, the people will lose the job. Even the factory will lose. So because of the price of 20 ringgit, we cannot afford pay our own labor for our own manufacturers. The people will lose the job. Even so cheap the things, 20 ringgit, I not afford to buy the t-shirts because I lost a job. So this is also a cycle things. Our Malaysian maybe lost the rice bowl. We cannot afford to buy even the cheap things.
I feel like you are still jumping to the fear of like suddenly this opens up the floodgate of like China taking over our entirety of market, and we are left to only the small scrap only, and then all of us will just have to work for China kind of thing mentality. Is it?
Yeah, from what I know, it's like the Chinese corporations, they are bring along their people to come to Malaysia for working. They don't have any restrictions. Oh, okay. It's some kind of like, you are the manufacturers, you are the factories, you have to hire. How many percentage is like, say, is 70% or 80% is from local people? You cannot hiring your people to come to Malaysia. Maybe the Chinese people. Even the constructions, they're doing constructions. They bring their own people to come to do the constructions. So what I'm see from my eye lah.
Okay, so my question to this is this where do you see this happening, and where is the data to support to say that China will bring their flood of people and take over, and then hold on to that and not share it to other people, kind of thing? Where is that coming from? Because my counter to that is they are doing this for Africa. Okay, so China is investing a lot in Africa.
Yep.
And they're putting a lot of money there, and they're bringing their people there, and they're putting the work there, right?
Yes.
But as you can see, China is not holding hostage Africa. After a certain period, they hand over the things to African people so they can take care of, because China wants to establish Africa as a economy, so that China can sell to Africa as well. So if China goes there and then China take over, it means like, it's just China 2.0 lah in Africa. So it's just China people buying from China again. I don't think that's what China wants to do lah. China wants to establish different market sectors so that they can sell to other people. And when we apply to Malaysia as well, you say like, if China comes in, they will hire only Chinese people, and then all our local here won't have any work, right? And no money to pay for the things. We just take a moment to think. If that's the case, who's going to buy from China then? Why would China want to make the Malaysian people have no money? Because if Malaysia have no people, they can't buy from China also. Right? You imagine that way, like, okay, China people come in, China people work here, China take all the jobs, then Malaysian here have no money, right? So, if that's the case, China literally just shoot itself in the foot, because then who want to buy from China? There's no point for China to say that, we come here, we take over your job, we take your money. Then after we done, we left.
No, it's some kind of like, okay, it's like our manufacturers, our SME, or maybe our corporation will get suffer. This is one thing. When the corporation suffer and then the small SME suffer, which is the Malaysian here will be lost a job, part of it lah. It's not say all I say part of it lah. So they are lost a job. Who could afford to buy the things?
Again, I want you to think in the perspective of if that's the outcome lah. Okay, the outcome is they take over, then the small businesses cannot afford to hire people, and then the workers cannot get job, no money to pay things.
Mm-mm.
You just think in the perspective of from China there. Oh, I take over your job, I take away your money. That means there is no market there already, ma. So what for China want to stay anymore if there's no market? Who's going to pay for their things if there's no one to buy for it, right?
Uh, yeah, actually, their come over is like I think it's like colonials. I was like colonial, like
Colonialism.
yes,
But okay, that's an interesting perspective.
yes, because
So
like,
they come here, take over,
they're built.
become take over our resources and become the master lah.
Yeah,
Something like that, right?
They build the what you call it, the speed train
Uh-huh.
from China come to Malaysia and to come to Singapore is the speed train.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to explain in English. I say called what in Chinese way it's called 一带一路. I don't know what's the
This
name.
is the China Belt Road, the thing. Is
China
it?
Belt Roads. Yes.
So
Yeah.
okay, why is that a bad thing?
It's from China. They bring. It's like last time that the British they are trying to do the what you call it the train rain. It's some kind of like this kind of concept. They
So
try
it-
to colonial the country,
is
the
that a
Southeast
bad-
Asia.
Is that a bad thing that British done to bring the technology here? Hold on. Okay. All right. So let me say that again. Okay. So British did it before. Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. Do you think it's a bad thing or good thing?
I think British colonialism is very bad because they come in, they take our resources, they leave.
Mm-hmm.
My difference with China is that China comes in, they wouldn't take our resources. They say, okay, we are giving you our resources, but you owe us. That's China's approach, as far as I can tell. And they don't put you in like they give you the money and they give you the resources. But the terms for those money and the resources are so like if you go for a loan, right, you got the terms, interest rate, how much you pay and everything,
of
right?
course.
You do this where every country will do this. US does it, and then also China does it. Now, between US and China, US will have a much more harsher terms. Like they will say, "Oh, we are the US. We got the money. We see you, country Malaysia. We want to put our money there. But when we give you our money, you need to give us. You need to hire Americans only, or you need to pay us high interest rate." That is US approach. China is also doing that, but their terms are much more softer. They will say, "Oh, we want to invest your money. We make you pay us, but your interest low. We'll keep it low because we want you to have your money so you can spend it on us. And then we want you to hire our Chinese people so that our Chinese people can teach you how to do it. After that, you all do it yourself because we want you to establish you guys as an economic power so that we can sell to you guys in the future." That is China's approach.
Mm-mm.
So both have certain colonial aspect, but to me, when I see between China and US, China has a much more nicer approach, lor.
I because for my culture, for my culture, from what I know lah, I don't think Chinese, the China, especially you see from some places. Okay, maybe I put in the other ways. It's some kind of like a Hong Kong. You know, the Hong Kong previously is like is they call that is previously is a financial hubs.
Yes.
It's a very good cities.
Yes.
But after that, after 20 years or 30 years, they are saying it's one country, two system. But in the end, now it's not two system.
It's just one system. Yes.
It's
Okay.
one system.
It's China system.
It's
Okay.
China system.
So-
It's some kind of like the communism.
Okay.
Can do something is like I can put on the surface on the paper is very nice. But after that, I can do another things. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying, oh, yeah, I look like a gentleman, but in the end, I'm not the gentleman.
Then is this like okay? So are you afraid of like China's
I'm not
imperialism kind of thing?
I'm not saying I'm afraid, but as Malaysia, as a Malaysian, our government should have some policy to protect our Malaysian first before we go for to grab something. If let's say we have to something is like, okay, the big corporation, no matters is Chinese, no matters is US, we have to the Malaysian go first. You have to like, okay, the big corporation come to Malaysia, you have to hire 70% or 80% Malaysian first. And then you have this company in Malaysia, you set up the Malaysian, you have Malaysian inside this company or whatever. You have some restriction. No matter is you are protect the rich people or the blue collar people or the middle class people. I know the government should protect the rich people first. They have some maybe a chairman. You have to put one chairman, the Malaysian. But
I disagree. I don't believe we should protect the rich people first.
No, the government have this kind of a regulation. They have you have to listed company. Should put one Malaysian in the management level or whatever. They have the regulation.
Yes, of course. There's that you
but
have to.
For the blue collars or maybe the blue collar or white collar peoples, the middle class people or the lower class peoples, they don't have any this protection. They no mention say, oh, the blue collar you should hire 80% or 70% for the Malaysians. They don't have this kind of regulation to protect us. Or maybe some freelancer, they cannot do the job. They have a very restriction to. If let's say I found someone who are do freelance, especially Chinese people, to do a freelance here, you strict away to send them back to China or whatever. This kind of restrictions. And then some kind of like you can see even some like we call it beggar. I saw a lot of the beggar who are in the Chinese communities, like in Kepong or Serdang area. They're from China. How come they're so easily to come in to be a beggar? And some more, you ask them, how come they speak in the Chinese, but they is not local? They do a beggar here. How come the Malaysia our here is so the regulations are so loose? They can even they travel come to Malaysia, they be a beggar. They can do the beggar in the Chinese community.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like your perspective on this is based on your personal experiences, lah.
Yes.
Statistically, based on the the initiative for the free visa lah for China, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was over like 8 million Chinese came over, like 8.4 million, something like that, right? During that time period, from 8 million that came, 8.4 million came, 8 million went back. Okay, so that means about 400,000 nationals, Chinese, came here and stayed beyond their period of time.
I understood.
But you compare the number, that is such small number compared to the 8 million.
Yeah, I understood.
What I'm trying to lead here is, you see one or two Chinese beggars there coming here and taking advantage of the system. But is that an actual problem, or is it just one or two people? Do you think it's not fair to say that, oh, just because one or two bad people, the entirety of the China people is considered a problem already? And then here's the other part. Why is it only now that we are looking at Chinese nationals as an issue when previously we've brought in Bangladeshi, Myanmar, all this? Why wasn't that an issue then? Why are we okay with them coming over as foreign workers? But then, when China people wants to bring their workers in, then it's a problem. So if we are looking at that, then we are telling ourselves that, Malaysia is only for Malaysia only.
I absolutely agree what you're saying though. What you're saying. Yeah. They have the Chinese come to Malaysia is to bring the economy to Malaysia and then travels lah, the tourisms lah. Yeah, tourism's what you call it, the segments, everything's they come to travel and spend the monies in Malaysia. Yes, this is a positive way, and then we have the gain, the investor lah. I mean they invest to Malaysia. Yes, but it's some kind of like my concern is government should do something to protect our Malaysians. This is what I'm thinking.
Yes, that we need to protect workers, okay? But I feel like you're targeting the wrong people. Okay, like my thought is when you say, oh, the 90-day visa, Chinese people will come here and take our job. Is that really going to be case for all the Chinese people? What if the Chinese people here want to come here and work, collaborate with Malaysia? You have already eliminated that opportunity. When you say, oh, we should put restriction on Chinese national coming in. Why is it only China? You do realize India also has a similar visa free passport initiative as well. Why is it only China but not India? Are we looking at this? And also, when you start doing that, right, it will trickle down to other nationals as well.
Mm-mm.
Or are you saying that only China only, but maybe Ukrainian is okay, or Russian people okay, or American people okay? Why only China but everybody else not the problem?
So this is why I come back to the question. We have to do the protection first before we
And
do the
so
welcome to
the
all the foreigners who come to
protection
Malaysia.
is, are you protecting the workers or are you protecting the businesses? Because the thing is, right, when you say protectionism, right, okay, then we need to establish like regulation for businesses to say that, oh, we need to ensure that workers won't get fired, or we need to ensure there is market for Malaysians there. But then, do you think the government would protect businesses, protect the workers over the business, or the other way around? Because I think, for my understanding, is that the benefits will always go to the business owner first, not the workers.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So if I'm a businessman and I see Chinese people coming in and I see I can hire them for cheaper labor, yes, I'm a businessman. I will just hire the Chinese worker, lor. So the protection would be like, oh, me as a government should say that, oh, you as a businessman, like you cannot do that. If you want to hire the Chinese, you need to go through proper regulations. And I do believe that we have enough proper regulation because it's not easy for people to come here and work, ma. I can tell honestly from knowing a lot of foreigners who work and live here, how hard it is for them to get a visa to work here. That's the proper channels. And if you say there's a black market for like all these people abusing the visa, I think it's overblown because like how many do you know of this happening? I don't see as much. Lah. I don't see. If anything is like barely of an issue there. Lah. What is happening with a lot of like small businesses is that larger businesses eat small businesses by abusing all this like restriction. Like I said, I think we mentioned this before. Lah. I mentioned this before. Let's say, okay, Malaysia put a very strict competition on the economy and only local businesses can do everything, can have the protection there. So I am Maidin, and then there's a small company, small shop lot there, sell groceries too. Now I don't need to worry about the small businesses getting better competition because I lapsa everything. I got a lot of protection as Maidin. So I can just undercut the small businesses and make them go away because who going to fight against me? No one, ma. When you provide protectionism for businesses will take advantage but not think of the people one. I doubt, if I'm being honest, I doubt if you give all these benefits to business, they will say, oh, we got all this benefit, I will take care of all the workers. No, I think when you put all these benefits,
Azreen, off care. If let's say today, I think the corporation or big corporation or small corporation, we are put it equally. We treat it as a Malaysians. We treat it as a Malaysians. This is our Malaysian assets. We call it assets. Mining or whatever we call it. But if let's say one day we are without this all the minings, we all call this maybe some other countries like the foreign's the name or some others name to come to Malaysia. The more they have in Malaysia, all they are kill our locals, the businessmen, the business corporations. So which is we are here is some kind of like we are in US, we are in a state, we are not in Malaysia. We are in maybe in state or maybe even in China. You get
again, I think you're putting unfounded fears of like China coming over and taking over the country and like turning everything to China mentality, or turning over everything to China's businesses and everything like that.
It's not Yes, I afraid that one also, but it's some kind like we should like protect our own things, like our. It's like say,
Okay, but here's the thing. You keep saying want to protect, protect. Why do you want to protect? Because you're afraid of something, right?
okay, if let's say like okay, we are talking about car industries.
Okay.
The car industry is like the Proton. Which actually we last time we are proud. We have this Proton, the car make Malaysian to make the engine or something. But today we are selling to Geely. We said you're not proud with Proton anymore. Right? I don't know whether you will last time or we still got I don't no matter it's who
So okay, is that pride more important than quality? Can I ask you honestly? Did you think Proton was a good car before Geely?
okay. We have the mentality is like that. We are selling we sell this this big corporation to China no or even Japan or some other countries. This is an end of the story. But as our Malaysians, we have to one thing we have to protect ourselves. Protect the our own brand. The other thing we have to
okay.
improve.
So okay, protect our own brand.
We
and
have to improve.
Okay.
Not say we are sitting days and then we have got the protection, but we don't get any improvement. This is okay. Like Proton, we are not improved. We are liars, or maybe as other countries, like we go for Japan. We are not doing any engine anymore. Then that's all. We have to make more opportunity to Malaysians to make the engine.
Okay.
This is what I'm thinking.
Okay. So let's use Proton as an example.
Mm.
Prior to this, Proton had good protectionism. Okay, trade protectionism. We Mahathir provided that Proton is a Malaysian car, so they get special benefits. They are the cheaper to make and everything. But because of that, what happened to Proton as a quality? Can we both agree that during that time period, the quality of Proton car not so good, right?
Yes.
It keeps going down, 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 down. Okay, throughout that period of like protectionism, it came to the point where they had to sell themselves to China. If not, Proton would gulung, chaplak, go out of bankrupt.
Yes. True.
So that is the result of protecting a Malaysian brand. Is that worth the sacrifice of protecting? Is that what you want to help to achieve? Because that's what happened. That is facts already, ma. So we can see that. And then we sell off to China. China take over. What happened now? People now are willing to buy Proton cars because they got new designs, new approach, all this improvement in terms of like production and all this. Is that not good thing for the Proton?
Okay. Good thing is the consumers. The consumers, the public, they have this make good quality products. But in terms in the corporation, the Malaysians, the assets, we call it Malaysian assets, Malaysians corporations. They sell off this corporation, but why not? They want to spend more the talents or hire the not say they pay more efforts lah. They pay more efforts to do this corporation more better.
In terms of what you do?
In terms of if let's say for R&Ds or some other, you can send your people over the overseas to do a R&D and some things. It's more you can hire some you can hire some the foreign talents who are build the Proton more better. A lot of way to make up the Proton.
How is that helping Malaysians though? If you're telling me that hire foreign talent to build up Proton, how is that different from China coming in and helping to build Proton better?
Okay, because the technology is from Geely. It's very obvious that the Proton technology from Geely. The Geely is like takeovers the. In some days it's like they sell the engine to our Proton. We don't need the Proton anymore. We just the brand of the Proton. We just buy the Geely directly from China. Why we need the Proton? We don't need the Proton what? We create the Proton actually we come out with our pride, our own brand. Then why not they come out just a Geely to come into Malaysia and then do just sell to Malaysians this is a Geely car. The purpose of this Proton is not necessary at all. What I'm thinking, you just take off the Proton. I'm just treating it as just a China car.
So would you prefer that Proton just ended then?
You have our own technologies.
What is our own technology that we're not utilizing.
if let's say in the Proton in the car industries, we have to create our own engine. We have to improve. Even it's very worse. It's like Gen 2 that time. The quality we can improve from there. From the quality, we have to like how we go to improve ourselves. It's not say we are sell this off lah. We cannot do lah. We sell all this to the other people.
So why didn't it improve then?
Because the quality is the consumers is, let's say, the consumer,
and that is a result of protecting the brand lah. So when we keep coming back, you say we should build up our own, but the businesses did not choose to do that. Proton did not choose to improve on itself. What did it do? It just let it go, ma.
Yeah, this is Proton issues now.
So if we
it's not say every corporation they want to like sell to the other peoples, to sell to other foreigners.
Like I'm saying, so is that the outcome that we can look for? Is that we protect until it dies? Is that what you?
No. I'm not saying we protect until he dies.
Then
we have the policy to protect our own corporations. Let the corporation got the room to grow. Let the corporation got the room to grow. We have we try to protect this. We have the room to grow. In the end, maybe Proton they have to come out their new engines or whatever. They cannot do it. Okay, they sold to this call that the Geelys or that. Okay lah. They have tried, but as long as we have the protection for some our local people, the locals, the SME or even the corporations. This is what I'm thinking.
Again, I think you're putting it unfounded fears in terms of like how this China will take over and kill off all the small businesses and everything like that. Because Proton came in, Geely came in and take over Proton. Has that killed off Produa? Did Produa die because of Geely?
I think it's like they are not killed the Produa. But it affected. You see, now you can see a lot of choices from a Chinese car. No, I know now this is a trend now from the China car to come into Malaysia. A lot of choices for our consumer. Our consumer actually we got more choice for the car, but we have to one thing is the protection. The other thing is our corporation. They have to pay more effort and more hardworking to compete with those foreign corporation to come to Malaysia.
Is that not a good thing then, to improve ourselves, to become better then?
But if let's say we are go to China's, they also have the policy to protect their own thing also what. Their own brand or something. Even the MERS and then whatever they have to exemplary in China. It's some kind of like this kind of idea. But they are protect their own.
Okay, with Geely right now, isn't it the same thing here, where we are building up manufacturing here, assembling the car here?
Yeah, they do the same thing. But if let's say we have not say only Protons, we are only saying in Protons, but some other
like what? Okay, like again, how is China encroaching on our ability to produce then? Because as far as I can tell, Geely is an example that it's currently going on with Proton. Yes, we use their technology, but at the end of the day, we still bring it back here. We still hire Malaysian workers to manufacture a lot of the cars here, and we are establishing a lot of manufacturing technology to build the cars here, right?
Yes.
So, do you think that when China have this we're starting talking this about 90-day free visa, okay, for tourists. It's not about establishing businesses or anything like that, because if you want to establish business, there's still proper procedure, ma. Do you really think 90-day visa will cause our economy to collapse for the small businesses here?
I feel it's insecure securities for Malaysia. I feel if let's say 19 days, because for me it's understandings for China's populations, it's 10% or 50% people who are in the capability it's a rich people lah. I can say it's a rich people. Some people maybe they have the opportunities. It's 50% people got the opportunity to make the scam or make other things, bad thing in Malaysia because on this 90 days.
Okay, but that's scam and bad things. That is illegal things.
Yes.
We have laws. So if they do a bad thing, they will get caught, not do again. Lah.
No, because this one is make the easier the people to come into Malaysia. This 19 days.
Again,
Bro.
how big of a number that is, that if you feel that it would really impact, okay, let's say 8.4 million came to Malaysia under the free visa.
Mm-mm.
Only 400,000 stayed back and didn't go back. Okay, out of those 400,000, how many do you think
But
are
this
scammers?
data actually is based on the on a paper way, but in a black market way, you don't know.
But you don't know either, lah. So
Yeah, because we can.
are you saying that Malaysians are so incapable of keeping track of all this that we can't figure out a proper number anymore?
I just afraid. I just seriously I'm afraid.
And I feel like you are being afraid for no reason, because there is no evidence to suggest that China is like, the black market for China is really overtaking Malaysia in that sense.
No, I
And
just
the future it will happen like that.
It's like the communities, the communists.
Again, what your fear of
communist-
communism is, I feel, again, based on old red scare from the past. What is it about communism that you are afraid of? Like, what will happen with communism that you are afraid of?
I just look at examples that previously is what happened in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Yes.
Okay, what is happening with Hong Kong that is you are afraid of?
Because this thing, it actually is already happened. I think if let's say you want to trace back the history, I think it's a few years back. You can see from the videos.
What, all the riot of like China suppressing the
you
voice.
guys can check it out from.
But that is Hong Kong. Hong Kong is and always will be part of China.
You know, if let's say come to Malaysia, Malaysia, we are last time this is for communism. We are anti-communism. It's like last time we have this communism in KL, and then they have to don't let the people or leaders who are chase them out to Malaysia. You know the time.
The communism of Malaysia, right?
Yes. They are connected. Why? How come today we are welcome them? That we open the big door to welcome them.
I want you to think back and ask yourself, why was there communism in Malaysia? What was the purpose for communism in Malaysia? Well, this is a history lesson for a lot of Malaysians that don't know. Communism in Malaysia was not just like from China. There were Malaysians as well who were communists.
Yes.
Why? Because of British imperialism. The communism was established in order to go against British imperialism, because Western side see communism as a threat towards capitalism and imperialism at the time. What communism wanted to do at the time was to go against all these imperial bosses, like the big boys like British and all this, abusing the workers and not giving them proper payment. So they fought. It was a fight in order for freedom. But they lost because British used very similar tactics to what Nazi used to do. They put them in concentration camp. They killed them without any prejudice. And then they decided to make communism as an enemy. We all believe history is written by the winners. The winner at the time was British imperialism, and they decided that communism was the enemy. But we never really asked ourselves, why was communism the enemy? What caused communism to come in? Is it because China just say, oh, we want to take over Malaysia, that's why we send the communism people there to infiltrate and take over? What was the purpose of communism? Do we really think that, communism is there just to brainwash the people, become slaves? Is that what happened?
I have no ideas lah.
So if you have no idea, and why are you afraid of communism without knowing the fear of communism?
But just based on just reasons, the histories is what written in Hong Kong. That's one we are afraid. I'm afraid. It's not say every. I believe with some of our Chinese, they are also saying, wow, this guy is so like, what you call that? I don't know what the people.
But that's the thing. Why are we thinking that China is coming in and we are letting their leadership to come in and take over our country?
It's some kind of like the
communism from China?
I don't know. Actually, it's some kind of like this. I put it in another way. It's like We are just a small country. Malaysia is just like a small country. No matter it's United States or whoever's like China's, well, this call we call it big daigou lah. The the big daigou come to even US also same things. State also same thing. Come to Malaysia, they rampas our thing. They take our resources. Or even the same as China. So why they want to improve your countries? Our country in China is so many places. It's worse than Malaysia's. It's some more they don't have any food. Yeah, they claim to say they have a food and everything is very good. We can see in the cities. But some other places is like, it's like seriously, like the toilets, the condition is so bad. Everything is so bad. Even food is so bad. But they are not helping their people first. They are not coming their Chinese people priorities. They come to help you Malaysians. Yeah, I grow your economies lah. They not grow their own places. Well, how come they want to grow your place?
Okay,
And because you have the resources, they say okay, they rampas you. Maybe they are not say, oh, I rampas you. I'm straight away. I'm saying, oh, I rampas. Maybe they're slowly to rampas. This is what I'm thinking. Every taiko, every like even state, even Chinese or whatever country, they only want to your resources. What our Malaysians, we have to do some things. We have to protect ourselves before we meet this all daiko. This is what I'm thinking. I'm not saying state is a bad guy. Chinese is a bad guy. It's not. It's same thing. Is we everyone is doing economies. We want to make monies. Even the Chinese people and all state, they want to make money only one. This is why I'm thinking.
Okay, I get where you're going with this, but your self-protectionism is unfounded. There's like extreme fear of you thinking that like they're gonna come in, they take everything, and they're going to leave.
No, I afraid, but this is the warning because I want our government to protect our people.
You keep saying like, oh, China has all these resources to take care of themselves, but they don't care their own resources. How many cities have you seen that so bad in China that it's been abandoned? But you have to also consider how big is China. How much resources it would take to build everything. And you're telling me that then China is not doing enough to pull themselves out of like poverty and everything. China is the most country that have contributed to bringing people out of poverty compared to the rest of the world. Okay, so they are doing a lot better. They've improved all their infrastructure. They provide better social benefits. Is there like China being like very oppressive in some sense? Yes, I won't deny that. They've done some things like not allowing people to say certain things or censor certain things. Yes, that's not good lah. I would agree that. Or their oppression of the Uyghur Muslims. Yes, but you cannot tell me that they've never done enough to improve the country.
No, of course they have a good thing. They have done something to the, but come to like, because I live in Beijing before. I feel like the life is like I want to talk some things, I want to do something. I don't have any freedoms. Even okay, I have a conference, a national conference. I want to buy a scissors to do my artwork, and say I cannot buy the scissors. You have to do the registrations, and then you can buy a scissors. Why? Because you're threatening our governments. So you have to do the registration before you buy a scissors. I think this is nonsense. I just want to buy a scissors to do my artwork. You say I want to use my passport and do the registration to just do the small piece of scissors. This thing make me to feel like I don't have any freedoms.
Okay, but
yes, it's some kind of like okay.
Is that really the case? Did you really?
No, this is my personal feeling. Is like how come these things is? I know it's just very small things. It's a very minor things. But it's make me to like feel like I just want some things. I do my freedom. I just want to buy a scissors to do my artworks and things on it. How come the thing is made so serious? And what I'm doing in China's, every time I enter the MRT, we call it the train, I have to do the security checks before I enter the MRTs. And then how come it's so secure? Why I bring a bomb or something to the train? Every time I go for I go for works. How come so tight the securities? Everything is so tight. It's like I don't have any freedoms. I feel like I don't know lah. Maybe some other countries do the same thing also. But in Malaysia, I feel like more freedom for me to do some things. This is what I'm thinking.
Do you really believe that China will be able to take away all this freedom if they started with this 90-day visa thing?
Okay, come back to this question.
That's
90
why,
days.
because like you bringing all this fear of China's very strict oppressive security and all this, like we're talking about 90-day visa for tourism. How is that going to affect your freedom? You imagine how much you need to jump in order to reach to that conclusion, eh? Don't you think you're being a bit, I don't know, overly paranoid about this kind of thing? And ask yourself this logical, very simple question. Why would China want to do that? You already say, they have a lot of things they need to take care in their home. Why they want to implement?
Resources.
No, but like, why would they need to implement like those measures, like security measures, or observation, or take over all the jobs here, Why would they need to do that? If they say resources, they can just trade with Malaysia to buy the resources, It's China, they got the money, one. If you're telling me, they want to take the resources without paying, I think US is done more worse, or Western countries done more worse in that sense.
I have no idea lah. Seriously,
Okay, if you here's the thing: if you have very few understanding of what is there, don't you think that the fear that you are putting out is a bit how I say, it feels like you're purposely trying to cause disruption for sake of no disruption there, like purposely trying to stroke fear without having seen actual things there.
Of course, I have a very strong personal feelings when, because with last time before I went to China's work, I have a very good impression.
Hmm.
After a few years, I had this very personal feelings. After a few years, of course, why I when I came back from China, come back to Malaysia, this is very personal feelings, because I know say in one podcast I can talk everything's about in China's lah.
Hmm.
So this is very personal feelings. So that's why it make me to move from there.
Yes, I understand that, and
Mm-mm.
I'm not going to disagree to say that there are some oppressive states in China and in some oppressive measures being implemented in China.
Mm-mm. But I just want to, and these videos and then this podcast, I just want to emphasize, and then the government should be more aware, and then put more protection to our Malaysians to make our rice bowl. If let's say in Malaysia here, everyone's we can like our rice bowl be protected lah. If I can say is the rice bowl protected, then this is good lah. Then if let's say maybe my knowledge is not reach that level enough, maybe the government they have put, maybe they have think more than me. Of course lah, their governments maybe they think more further than me. Then they have the ideas. 90 days, 90 days free visa is good for our economies to Malaysia and for me. Then okay, what?
I mean, okay, if you're at least open enough to accept the fact that what they're doing won't have any change, but I will preface this saying that government is not always right, because sometimes government can be biased towards certain implementation that they think is better for them lah, and not for the people instead. And there is healthy skepticism to be had there. But again, there shouldn't be any unfounded fears based on things that you feel like is scary for you and think will happen in Malaysia, because evidence suggests otherwise. Because so far, as I can tell, China hasn't encroached our freedom. China hasn't told us we can't do certain things. China hasn't taken away all our jobs, as far as I can tell. So to me, a lot of things that you bring up doesn't necessarily become true. I could be wrong. Maybe after this, suddenly we become China state, huh? So after this, all communism, something that is a very scary thing apparently, because
maybe I'm wrong also. Maybe one day Malaysia is very good. Maybe we got wawasan 30.
I'm just saying that,
they say 30 too.
So far we've been not doing communism, and it doesn't seem like we're doing so good anymore. So
whatever lah. I hope our economy better, and then the 90 days, however, is bring the good luck and the good money come to Malaysia.
I do believe it will be better lah, because like again, this idea of like, you know, China stealing our rice bowl in that sense is not lah. We've been talking for an hour because Aki has been quite passionate about this, and I feel like there needs to be a good discussion about it. But yeah, we've been talking for an hour. I don't think we made any. I mean, we have a good discussion. Hopefully, it brought to you guys some enlightenment of like what our perspective of in terms of this kind of thing lah,
Yeah.
and where we're coming from. But as always, if you enjoy what we do, please share, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And until then, we will see you guys on the next episode.